Okay, I just want to say this real quick. I keep making this video, and it's something I'm very passionate about. A few years ago, I said Occupy Wall Street was a wash. I said when it first started that it was going to fail. And the reason is because they weren't doing the right things. Look, same with the Ferguson thing. You want to change, you have to earn that change. You have to do the right things. You have to be adults about it. You have to be good citizens. Look, Martin Luther King, that didn't happen because he had a big march and he gave a great speech. The change in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, that occurred because he talked to the right people. He had enough influential people behind him that supported his cause that the government recognized that. The government saw that he had enough people that were very influential in society at the time that they saw a need for the change. If enough people desired that change, they granted it to them. But he also talked to people in the government. He talked to lawyers. He talked to doctors. He had the support of congressmen, senators, mayors, governors. He didn't just march on the street and hold a sign on the side of the road. He had a problem. He had a cause. He found a way to get to a solution, and he got to that solution. Same with Abraham Lincoln. People think that the slaves were freed because they all ran away. No, the slaves were freed because Abraham Lincoln saw a problem. He had a cause. He found a way to get to a solution, and he got to that solution. Yes, there were hiccups in the way, but he ultimately made that change occur. We're not doing that anymore. As Americans, we've digressed to the point where anarchy rules. We see all these other countries rebel against their governments. But I want to tell you people, we're not in Saudi Arabia, we're not in Egypt, and we're not in Brazil. We're in America. We're in a country that used to be great. We used to have a fantastic government that looked after us people. And the reason is because we were upstanding citizens. We were the best country in the world because we acted like it. We didn't riot, we didn't loot things, we didn't riot over the Phillies losing. How we caused changes, we talked to the right people. We went through the right channels. We ran for president, we ran for senator, we ran for governor. We won because the people of this great nation, I should say what was once a great nation, wanted the change to occur. If we want a change to occur bad enough, we're going to take action, we're going to act like upstanding citizens, and we're going to make this country great again. But we're not going to do that by throwing bricks through a McDonald's window. We're not going to do that by stopping people from getting to work on the highway. We're going to do that by going to our senator, going to our government, going to people of influence in our communities. I think it's important to realize that we're not alone. If we feel something is a problem, then we can probably find somebody else that feels the same way. And if we eventually get enough people that support our cause, then we can go to our government and we can request them to change it. If they refuse, we're going to be persistent. If they throw us out of the Capitol, then we're going to picket the Capitol. We're not just going to immediately result to picketing the Capitol, because what's that going to do? If we want change, we're going to go to the people that can make the change occur first. If they don't want to listen to us, then we're going to keep trying by any means necessary. But we need more than 10 people. We need more than 20 people. We need hundreds, thousands, millions. Change doesn't occur because one guy walks into the Capitol building and says, I want all the sidewalks to be painted blue in the country. Change occurs because a million people walk into the Capitol building and say, I want all the sidewalks in the country to be blue. What they're going to do is they're going to write a bill. They're going to make it so we can vote on that bill. And if that bill passes, then all the sidewalks will be painted blue. But rioting, how's that going to result in anything? We're not going to the government. We're not telling them why we're upset. We're not telling them what the problem is. We're not telling them how to change and fix the problem. We're just throwing a temper tantrum like little kids. And yes, I have an anger issue. And I'm more than open about that. Look, I throw stuff, I break stuff. But sometimes I also step back and say, I want to think about why I'm angry, and I want to think about how I can fix this. Whether I'm upset for an hour or I'm upset for 3 days. Eventually I'm going to step back and I'm going to say, what's wrong, Tyler? How can I make myself alright with this? How can I change my attitude? How can I change what's upsetting me? That's what we have to do as adults, is we have to step back from each situation that upsets us. About our government, about our personal lives, about everything. We have to ask ourselves, how can we change this to where we're not upset about it? How can we make this system better? How can we make this situation better? And that's what we have to ask ourselves each time we find ourselves wanting to riot or wanting to go picket the highway. How can we change this to where people will support it? And I want everybody to think about that. I really want people to think about this, because we can be a great nation again. We can change our nation to where it's the best nation in the world again. It's the best country in the world. People want to come here not only because of the opportunity, but because of our culture. Look, we become a joke to the rest of the world, let's face it. Only thing we're known for is obesity and people being ignorant. Let's step back from ourselves. Let's step back from our culture and see what we can change and how we can change it. And that's all I have for you guys today. I am more than pleased with how this video turned out. Honestly, I've been trying to convey this idea, this thought about this Ferguson situation for about an hour now. And this is how I feel. I want this nation to be great once again. I want it to go back to how it was. I remember when I grew up, and I remember my grandparents telling me about when they grew up, and my dad telling me about when they grew up. My great-grandmother telling me about when she grew up. Well, not really the last part. But I remember people telling me about when they grew up and the days that this country was so great. But I just don't see it anymore. And I want to be able to say that this is the best country in the world again. But I can't do that without everybody taking a step back and saying, how can we change? And with that, I'm going to leave you guys, and I just want you guys to think about that.